Welcome to PCE Upper Intermediate, Module A, Day 8. The first word for today is cope. Cope means you deal with something difficult. And it is a verb. Has one syllable, cope. It's only been a year since he died. How's she coping? Number 2 is structure. Structure means the way in which the parts of a system or object are arranged or organized. The way it's put together. The grammar label for structure is a noun. How many syllables in structure? 2. The company has a complex structure. All right. We also have structure as a verb. So you see here the meaning is a little different. Plan or organize or arrange the parts of something. A little different, but it's a noun versus a verb. Same pronunciation. Every part of the lesson was structured carefully. So the teacher planned the lesson very carefully. Number 3 is whatsoever. This sentence is used after a negative phrase to add emphasis to the idea that is being expressed. It's an adverb. How many syllables? Whatsoever. 4. Stress is on the third. Let's listen to the sentence. He has no respect for authority whatsoever. He has no authority for respect whatsoever. So it's like saying he has absolutely no respect. 0. Number 4 is production. Production is the process of making or growing goods to be sold. Production is a noun. How many syllables? Production. 3. Stress on the second one. Production has increased greatly since last year. Now it has a word family which is produce. Produce just simply means to make something. Again, usually with like a business or with plants. It's a verb. How many syllables? Produce. 2. Stress on the second syllable. France produces a great deal of wine. France produces a great deal of wine. So they make a lot of wine. Number 5, in spite of. So in spite of means to deal with something difficult. So you accomplish something even though it was difficult, in spite of it being difficult. Grammar label is a chunk. So there are 3 words there, each with its own syllable, but spite is what gets the stress. In spite of. You notice the linking sound there too, right? In spite of, in spite of. All right, in spite of his injury, Ricardo will play in Saturday's game. So, Ricardo is injured. Will he play? Yes. Even though he's injured, Ricardo will still play. Number 6 is necessary. Necessary means something you must have or you have to do. Necessary is a adjective. How many syllables? Necessary. 4. Stress on the first one. Food and water are necessary for survival. So if you don't have food and water, you will die. So they are necessary. It has a word family, so we look at necessarily. But be careful, necessarily, it's used negatively to mean not always. So in other words, we often say not necessarily. It's an adverb, and it has 5 syllables, stress on the first. So look here, that's not necessarily true. Now, be careful, it doesn't mean that's not true. It means maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. What we know is that the speaker is saying it's not definitely true. All right, and then finally we have necessity. Necessity is something you absolutely need. It's similar to necessary, except that it's a noun, and it's countable. How many syllables in necessity? There are 4 syllables in necessity. Stress is on the second syllable. Necessity is the mother of invention. That's a famous expression. It means the reason why people invent something is that there was a big need for it. So there you go. Number 7 is handle. We're looking at the meaning deal with something difficult. So it's a verb. How many syllables in handle? 2. Stresses on the first one. I thought he handled the situation very well. So it was a difficult situation, but he did a good job. Number 8 is shock. Shock is very surprised. It can be a verb or a noun. If it's a noun, it's usually countable, and it has 1 syllable. Seeing my ex-boyfriend was a shock. Very surprising. Okay, next we have shocking. Again, same meaning, very surprising, but this one is an adjective. How many syllables? Shocking. Shocking. 2, right? I heard some shocking news yesterday. And last one we have is shockingly. Shockingly is a adverb. How many syllables? 3. Stress on the first one. Shockingly. The hotel was shockingly expensive. It was so expensive it surprised you. Number 9 is exist. Exist means to be real or just to be. Exist is a verb. How many syllables? Exist. 2. Stresses on the second. This product doesn't exist anymore. Now it has a word family, so we're looking at existence. Same meaning, but this is a noun. How many syllables? Existence. Existence. 3. Stresses on the second. Many people question the existence of God. So many people wonder if God is real or not real. Number 10, difficulty. Difficulty comes from the word difficult, not easy. But difficult is an ADJ, difficulty is a noun. How many syllables in difficulty? 4. The difficulty of the task excited them. So the task was very difficult, and they were excited because it was difficult. They wanted something challenging. Number 11 is research. Research is to do a scientific study. It could be a verb or a noun. If it's a noun, it's uncountable. Listen to the pronunciation. How many syllables? Research. Research. 2. Stress on the first. They are doing a lot of research into this problem. Now it has a word family. So who is a person who does research? That is a researcher. So the grammar label, it's a job, so it's a noun, and it's a countable noun. How many syllables? Researcher. Researcher. 3. Where is the stress? Second syllable. Researcher. He works as a medical researcher. Number 12 is supply. Supply is give something that is wanted or needed. It could be a verb or a noun. How many syllables? Supply. 2. Stress on the second syllable. They are urgently in need of food and medical supplies. So here are the sentences for day 8. Sentence number 1. I cannot cope with such gross disregard of basic manners. I cannot cope with such gross disregard of basic manners. Sentence 2. The researchers were shocked by the difficulty of the problem. The researchers were shocked by the difficulty of the problem. Sentence number 3. It is necessary to increase the supply. It is necessary to increase the supply.